I'm actually quite looking forward to this fight. This Daniel Dubois, Tom Little showdown on the Saunders Murray undercard a month from now on June 23rd. Tom Little is a step up for Daniel Dubois. Now, some people are going to say Tom Little's garbage and Dubois is going to walk through him, etc. Okay, that might be your opinion and that might happen, but he's still a step up for Daniel Dubois, meaning he's better than the people Daniel Dubois has been facing up until now. You look at Dubois' record, he's fought these guys. His last opponent was DL Jones. I'm telling you now that Tom Little is better than all these guys. 100%. So it's a step up. Daniel Dubois is only 7-0. So this kind of opponent, a Tom Little, in your 8th fight is perfectly acceptable as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, why am I looking forward to it? Because Tom Little has been doing his best to try and get under Daniel Dubois' skin. So it's not so much a test of Daniel Dubois' skills and endurance and fitness and power and all that kind of business. It's a test of him mentally, because that's the part of Daniel Dubois' makeup which I'm still not sure about, is where he's at mentally, how he copes with different situations from a mental point of view, because he's a very young man, he's a very shy man, so it's difficult to read him and know where he's at mentally. I've mentioned this many times before in Daniel Dubois videos that I've done in the past, and some of you are probably sick of me mentioning it, but when Joshua was on the way up, even when he was an amateur, whenever I heard him speak, I realized that he's sharp-minded, he's switched on. Tyson Fury, same thing, he was sharp-minded, even as a very young man in his early 20s. With Daniel Dubois, he's so shy, he gives nothing away. I don't know whether he's really switched on upstairs, whether he's sharp. I just don't know. I'm not saying that he isn't. Just because he's quiet, it doesn't necessarily mean that his head is empty. But then again, it might mean that. I don't know. So the Tom Little fight is going to be interesting to me to see whether Tom Little's trash talk, because he's been trash talking Dubois a lot, trying to get under his skin, to see how that affects Daniel Dubois or if it affects him at all. In this particular IFL video of the stare down today, Dubois doesn't want to break away the stare down. To me, he looks vexed. He looks like he's angry with Tom Little about the things he's been saying, and he wants to prove a point in this fight. Now, some fighters can use anger to their advantage. They know how to control it, and they know how to channel it to good effect. Other fighters allow anger to consume them, and it makes them reckless and causes them to get off their game plan. They start getting hit with shots they shouldn't get hit with. They don't manage their energy levels correctly, etc. It's a similar kind of situation with fear. If you channel fear correctly, you can have similar results as channeling anger. So to me, Dubois looks angry, and I want to see how he deals with the anger. This is the first mental test, as much as maybe even more so than a skill test. A physical test is a mental test for me that I want to see if Dubois can pass here. How he deals with a trash-talking opponent, a guy who's trying to get under his skin, a guy who's belittling him, because Tom Little has been saying Dubois has got nothing going on upstairs. He's the village idiot. He's this, that, and the other. He's been posting memes and stuff on social media acting like, or saying Daniel Dubois is a man-child, and that he's going to spank him like a baby and all this kind of stuff. So I want to see how Dubois copes with that and whether that affects his performance in a negative way or in a positive way. As I say, he might be one of those guys who can channel his anger very effectively. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Do I expect Daniel Dubois to win? Yes, I expect him to win. He is being groomed for stardom, right? Frank Warren is trying to build him up to be the successor to Anthony Joshua, or maybe even successor to Tyson Fury, whoever turns out to be the best British heavyweight in the world at the moment. So he's supposed to win on paper, and I expect him to win, but because I haven't seen Daniel Dubois in difficult situations, because I haven't seen him in there with a real live opponent, with a guy who mentally is strong enough to try and get to him, as well as having the physical size to be able to box with him. Because I haven't seen Dubois in certain situations, I can't discount an upset. I can't discount it. I'm not betting any money on it. I'm not predicting it, but I can't discount it. I can't discount an upset, and I also can't discount Daniel Dubois looking bad in the fight and having trouble. Now, this fight is a 10-rounder. That's also something people have to take into consideration. See there, it's a scheduled contest for 10 rounds. If you look at Tom Little's career, yes, he's lost a number of times, but he's had more fights than Daniel Dubois. Yeah, significantly more fights, over double the number of fights. His last fight was a TKO loss to Hrgovic, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. This guy was a good amateur, Filip Hrgovic. He actually fought Joe Joyce. And interestingly, he fought Joe Joyce in the World Series of Boxing, which is kind of like a semi-pro league / tournament. And he lost to Joyce. But he also beat somebody else in that tournament who beat Joyce earlier on in Joyce's amateur career. He beat a guy whose name escapes me. I think he was a Russian fighter who actually knocked Joe Joyce out in the first round. This guy beats that guy in the World Series of Boxing and then loses to Joyce, which shows you the rock, paper, scissors nature of boxing. Boxing is not linear. Just because fighter A beats fighter B and fighter B beats fighter C, it does not mean that fighter C can't beat fighter A. It's rock, paper, scissors, it's chess, it ain't checkers. So, losing to a 2-0 guy, some people might say, oh wow, Tom Little lost to a 2-0 guy. This is not any ordinary 2-0 guy. So let that be known. Beat Josh Sandlin. Sokolovsky beat him. Knocked out Tom Dallas in the first round. So, Tom Little's form of late has been okay. You know, it's not bad. That stoppage defeat is no disgrace. Lost to Dominic Akinladi, which, you know, some people are going to say is poor form, but bear in mind that Dominic Akinladi lost to Josh Sandlin, someone Tom Little went on to beat. So, you know, he's definitely no world beater, Tom Little. He's probably not even British level at the moment. He's area level, but he's one of the better guys on area level. So I'm interested to see what he can do against Daniel Dubois. As I say, he's definitely better than all these guys Dubois has fought so far. And he's coming with real ambition, Tom Little. He ain't coming to lie down. And he knows what he's getting himself into, because there's this video here, it's a little clip of Tom Little sparring Daniel Dubois. They've sparred. It's only a very short clip, 55 seconds. Dubois doesn't really do much in the clip. Little gets some shots off and hits Dubois, I think, with a nice left hook, which doesn't really get any reaction from Daniel Dubois at all. He's just stalking Tom Little in the very, very short sparring clip that I've seen. You have to also talk about the fact that Tom Little is not known as a puncher, only 3 KOs out of his 10 wins. So that's one of the reasons he's being selected for an upcoming green prospect like Daniel Dubois, only 20 years old. They're not putting him in with any devastating punches at the moment, and rightly so. They're not supposed to. So, yeah, you have to favor Daniel Dubois to win the fight, but as I say, it'll be interesting to see if Tom Little can maybe get in his head and whether that can affect his performance or not, or whether it improves Dubois' performance when he's a bit, you know, vexed with an opponent. So, yeah, those are my thoughts on this particular fight. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I'm expecting most of you to be very dismissive and say this is a garbage fight. He's going to take him out easy. I'm just looking at the deeper aspects of boxing, because you can pick up a lot of things in the early stages of a fighter's career. You can pick up a lot of things about the fighter and know how they're going to react down the line. And one example I've cited and other channels have cited, I think Chris Andre's also talked about this, he spotted the same thing with David Price. When David Price fought Matt Skelton, and you can go and watch my post-fight video on this channel. The Matt Skelton video is still up, the post-fight for David Price. I pointed out that David Price showed alarming, warning signs, basically, in that Matt Skelton fight. Even though he blasted Skelton out in 2 rounds, and that was a 40-year-old man, most people didn't read anything into anything they saw in that fight. They just saw it as just a regular mismatch. No, if you were paying attention and looking closely, you could see that David Price was very uncomfortable when Matt Skelton got him up against the ropes and landed shots. And if a more formidable fighter had got him into that position, he would be in trouble. And that's what I said at the time, and look what went on to happen in David Price's career. So even at these embryonic stages of Daniel Dubois' career, I'm looking for similar things. I'm looking to see how he reacts in certain situations. Even in fights he wins, it might be a 2-round blowout against Tom Little, but I'm still looking to see where he's at mentally, where he's at technically, where his stamina is at if this goes any number of rounds, etc. So let me know how you feel about this in the comment section below. It's Hatman, I'm out.